What is going on, YouTube? PPS back. It is past the prop. What is it? 11? Week 11 already. Coming at you guys for our best bets of the week. Question and answer time. So very excited to break down this weekend slate. Some really ugly games and then 2 or 3 really good ones. So I'm sure most of the props that you guys are going to be looking at are going to be in the nicer games there. But as always, joined by my guy Stu. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. And I was kind of seeing the same thing you were too. I was looking through the slate of games and I was kind of noticing a reoccurring trend that we got a lot of ugly games this weekend. But luckily for us, they don't have to be pretty. They don't have to be high scoring for us to still cash some bets. So I think we found some good spots for today. And yeah, I'm just excited anytime we get another week of football. So I'm definitely ready to win some bets.
Awesome. Let's take a look at the chat. First couple minutes here. Got Jose. Welcome, my man. Welcome. Got Steve Turbo. Welcome in here, guys. Very nice to have MSA bringing us some questions right away, dropping those in there early. If you guys want to do that, right? We'll be able to get to all of them. They'll still come on our comment section. I believe they dropped 6 or 7 for us to talk about here. And we'll be talking about them throughout the show. If you guys have any questions yourself, drop them in there as well. But let's kind of talk about, obviously we had an NBA Wednesday and then obviously Thursday Night Football. We can get NBA out of the way. Another couple rounds of blowouts in a few of these games, like always. But all I want to talk about is Shai Gilgeous, man. What a freaking beast, dude. That guy is on one right now. What was his top? I think his final line was like 41, 7 and 7. It unbelievable.
Yeah, no, he had a great game. He hit that game winner step back 3-2. Washington should have won that game. Very frustrating as a fan, right? We were up 15 plus points at multiple times in that game, and we still lost to the Thunder. But yeah, SGA, he's just on a different level right now. And his points are the highest I've ever seen them in his career at today, right? They're at 31. So we've got a great NBA slate as well, too. I guess we'll throw that out there. We're both going to be doing NFL props today, obviously. But if you want NBA stuff, I know both you and me are going to have plenty of action because today's slate is beautiful.
Yeah, great slate for NBA. I'm sure I'll have an article out this afternoon after the show. But we'll recap like we always do for NBA, get that out of the way, and then head into talking about my awful Packer game. Dude, I fell asleep in the halfway through the third quarter, which is like the first time I've ever done that. But I went to the gym this morning. I even wore a Packer shirt and a Packer hat. I got a rep, even when they're bad. You can't just be wearing their shit when they're winning. We've gone through a lot of good years, but you got to rep them even when they're struggling here. Obviously, that was not the greatest game ever. So, yeah, I even got my crew. It's snowing again here 3 days in a row. So I had to go with the most tropical to make me feel a little bit better about how shitty it is outside. But we got hooked on this one. I loved this play too, dude. I absolutely loved that spot. Sengun was cooking early on.
Yeah, he was looking like he set us up for a perfect first half. It just seemed like it was going to be so easy, and then it was not so easy, unfortunately. Got hooked there. So really like that play, but that's the NBA for you, man.
Yeah, and CJ, dude, CJ, we're going to talk about him on my long shot, but crushed this number, crushed the points assist line. But, hey, if I'm going to say screw you to somebody, it's going to be Brandon Ingram because that man stole 9 assists from my guy. 9 assists. The second and third quarter, he just took over ball control. CJ took it over in the first and the fourth, and he still ended up with 8. He could, if he would have just played that position the whole time, dude would have easily crushed that line. Unfortunately, we just have to cash the minus 105, which sucked. But, yeah, those long shots were looking damn good for a while. Obviously, SGA went berserk even in the first quarter. Well, dude, he had like 4 assists in the first quarter.
Yep, and I believe he got the steal too, but unfortunately Lou Dort ended with 2 points. So shout out to Lou Dort taking a mid-range shot, which is a new thing apparently. But yeah, unfortunate right there.
Yeah, and this one was the easiest play until he got to 24. He sat at 24 for 12 minutes of game time. Yeah, he didn't get it. Like I was thinking, I was getting ready for a first half cash. I'm like, let's go. He's at 22 at half, gets 2 rebounds, no points in the third. And I'm like, oh, God, knowing the Pacers will fucking blow this lead or they'll get blown out by 50 or blow these guys out before he comes back in. And then he came back in and just dominated a little Plumlee again, dude. It was pretty fun to watch. him just go berserk. I think he had like 4 or 5 blocks. Again, 2.5 blocks minus 125, and he's been crushing that number. He's averaging like 3.3 a game. It's absurd.
Yeah, no, he's on a different level. And I think I actually probably thought it was the first half cash because I tailed you and I remember texting you like, hell yeah, he's crushing right now. This is so easy. I didn't realize he even made us sweat because I just turned to my game, but it works in the end. So that's what matters.
Yeah, it was a sweat, but not really because he came back in the fourth with like 8 minutes left. Mm-hmm. You know how their weird rotations are with the Pacers, and then he just destroyed them. And then he ended up with like 20 and 10, something like that. So that was good. And then the double-doubles was just brutal. I thought we were easily both going to hit. I thought we were going to get Terrence that plus 7,400 because they were both on pace for a while.
It was frustrating for me. I know your McCollum got there, and I had SGA halfway there in both rebounds and assists at halftime. I was thinking I should have done triple-double. Yet for whatever reason, Washington decided to start switching on every SGA screen and letting him score 30 points in the third quarter, which means no passes. So that killed me a little bit, made, insult to injury right there. But it does feel good when we're both like locked in on those long shots. Like we were both right there from like plus, 7,400. So that's life. But at least we were locked in.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give I know Terrence, a couple of these guys in here are in my VIP one here. I had Jalen Duren last night, double-double at 1,100. Dude had 8.7 rebounds in the first quarter and didn't get there. How does that even happen, dude? How does that even happen? Yet I was sitting there. I passed out, so I didn't watch the end, but I'm like, dude, this is a lock, bro. It's 1,100, plus 1,100 in the bank. And then the dude just doesn't do anything, and he still played. He was playing. And I'm like, dude, how does that even happen? But for a 7-footer under there, I don't know how you don't get all that done. But yeah, let's head on into our NFL stuff here. Obviously, I think we're both going to be probably talking about the same games for our favorite ones of the week, I'm going to assume, where we're going to be heading to the 3 big games, right? Out of the 3, right, obviously, I'll run through them here quick. You got I'll even throw the Bills in there. We'll even throw the Bills, Browns playing in Detroit. We have Dallas and Minnesota, and we also have the Chiefs, Chargers. If you had to pick your favorite out of the 3, or if you want to rank them, however you want to do it, where are we going for those?
Yeah, once again, frustrated by the lack of Washington being named in the big 3, but that's okay. That's okay.
It's from the other side, though. It's because we didn't want to talk about Houston.
That's true. That's fair. But I'll say, for me, it has to be Cowboys-Vikings, even though I think the other one, actually the Chiefs one, might be the better game. So many people have so many bets on this game. I have not heard anything other than this is a trap game, blah, blah, blah. This game has so much action on it so far. I'm not going to pick a side. I don't care if the Cowboys or the Vikings win. I'm just going to bet props. But it's going to be absolutely hysterical to watch the commotion, the complaining, the Twitter, all that stuff, along with what should be a good game. So I'm excited to watch those teams because I'll be happy if either one of them lose. If the Cowboys lose, that's great for me. Helps Washington in the playoffs. If the Vikings lose, Twitter's going to go absolutely nuts. So I'm pumped for that one either way.
Yeah, I think that'll be a really good game. I think I'm going to be leaning more towards the Chargers-Chiefs game just because I like those matchups. Hopefully Williams and Allen can both come back so we can see a pretty good game and we don't have to watch just dump off galore. We can actually see some Chargers offense because you can just tell Herbert's just got to get out of his hand quick, So it's like the drop off to like Palmer and Carter from Williams and Allen is huge, especially against a defense in the Chiefs that we've seen be a little bit more susceptible on defense lately in these last couple games. But I really like a lot of these props in a lot of these games. I know we talked pre-show about like there's some props not out yet that we were going to reach out to. Make sure you guys follow us over on Twitter. We'll probably drop those, right? We'll probably drop those on Twitter throughout. But let's get started here with one of MSA's questions. We talked about the Houston-Washington game here a little bit. They dropped about Davis Mills passing yards at 199.5 and also Daniel Jones. I'll let you take Mills. I'll talk about Jones there.
All right. Yeah. I kind of feel the same way about both these actually, where I would just both coaches want to run the ball 85 times a game. So with Washington, it's a lot harder to do that because their rush defense has been so good this season. But then I'd have to trust Davis Mills to complete passes that add up to 200 yards, which sounds like a lot. So I'm not really interested in the over on Davis Mills. I think it's probably a no bet for me, but I do think they're going to run the ball like 80 times, no matter what the game script is. So I'd probably pass on that over.
Yeah, I never bet on Daniel Jones strictly passing. I do passing plus rushing only, just because there's so many times where there's a broken down play and he just runs it and he gets you like those 20-yard plus runs, right? So I can't go on strictly passing yards. Unfortunately, if you want to switch up to pass rushing, I'd like to see what that's at. But I can't bet on Daniel Jones just passing because that means I have to trust the likes of Wendell, Darius Slayton, and then stupid Galladay, who made not top 10 for dropping a ball that hit him right in the numbers. So it's just tough, especially because Saquon's going to have to do so much already on the ground that one. All righty. Did this make any sense to you? You're out that way. How is it snowing out by you? Pretty bad?
So I am in the general vicinity, but I am in the nice, better climate vicinity. So I'm not getting any snow right now. I'm in Virginia right now. Up there, it's crazy. I don't know if you saw some of the pictures, though, that they were releasing, but I don't know why Buffalo would forfeit the game. I don't think that I don't know. I don't know what this means today. Are they trying to protest them moving the game? I don't know. I didn't really see anything.
I just heard that they can't get out of the airport, I think was what it was, but
I don't know if we can blame Buffalo for that. I think we probably got to blame the snow, right? Maybe we send Mother Nature a fine this week, but I don't know if Buffalo should have to forfeit the game. I'm not really sure. I guess we'll see what happens, but
yeah, and unfortunately for everybody here, you guys will have to listen to a game that's not involved in those top 3 games, coming for Stu's half unit spot of the week, going to one of the uglier games on the slate, divisional spot though.
Yep. Jaylen Warren over 24.5 rushing yards. So in my tweet for Pass the Prop this week, I kind of mentioned the last couple weeks we've been on superstar. This week, I switched it up a little bit. I'm going for 2 lower profile guys. We'll start right here. Rookie undrafted free agent Jaylen Warren. If you don't know what team he's on the Steelers. That's a good place to start right there. He is the backup to Najee Harris. If you haven't been following the Steelers so far, it's important to know that Najee Harris has been one of the least efficient running backs in the nation. There's been a lot of problems really in most aspects of his game, and that's opened up a lot of opportunity for Warren. So during the bye week, a lot of what I read from Steelers beat reporters that Warren's going to be more involved. Warren's going to take slowly take more and more of that Najee Harris kind of role. And we saw it last week. It was the first week out of the bye. He had a season high 12 touches. He cleared this number. Interestingly enough, too, towards the end of the game, when they were up with 2 minutes left, Warren actually had the game sealing rush that ended up getting them the first down that won the game. Having an undrafted rookie free agent out there instead of your former first-round pick running back on those key possessions is very telling to me about who they trust. Additionally, Warren averaging 5 yards per carry so far this season, implying we really only need 5 carries. Like I said, last week we had that season-high 12 touches. I expect us to continue to be in that range. One more thing, too. Coach Mike Tomlin this week said that Najee Harris is going to play. He's been on the injury report all week. He is going to play, but he did mention that he's going to be playing in a more limited fashion this week. And I haven't seen any news reporters mention that. I had to really dig through the beat reporters, go to all 3 of the Pittsburgh guys before I could finally find that tidbit. So I think Warren was already trending upwards before any problems. Now we're seeing, Najee could even see less carries. 25 yards is just such an easy barrier right here. I think Warren should go over despite, not being the best matchup in the world.
Yeah, no, for sure. I have Warren in quite a few of my fantasy leagues too. So I like to see that you're rolling with him. I am going into one of the nicer games, luckily for this one. We're going to a dome here, and I'm going to go to CeeDee Lamb for my spot. 77 receiving yards. The books are really trying to screw me over here when they're doing the 5.5 receptions at minus 160. Like, they're just sitting them there. They're not going to move it. They're just going to make you eat the juice if you really want to bet receptions. I would lean a little bit more to the receptions, but I really like this matchup. Minnesota's just getting the job done, right? They're getting the job done late in games. but they're allowing a ton of yardage and a ton of points, right? It's not like they have a good defense. The defense is getting pressure on quarterbacks, but outside of that, corners are getting cooked, right? They're not like they're doing anything special here. So far this season, the Vikings actually are allowing the second most receiving yards per game to wide receivers at 199 receiving yards for those guys so far this year, with about a touchdown allowed per game. And CeeDee Lamb is by far the alpha here, right? We're over a 30% target share. Even with Cooper Rush, he was still getting the job done enough. 7 targets in both games since Dak's been back. He's at 77 and 150. I don't see a way that they're going to stop CeeDee Lamb. And if Zeke's back and they're able to run the play action a little bit better, I think that's even better. We're going to see longer receptions here for CeeDee. I really like to see him running those underneath routes against the Packers as well. He still had a 35-yard reception and 13.6 yards per catch, but I'd like to see 15 targets, 11 receptions, and his route tree was so much more diverse last week. I think this is another spot where they're going to obviously try to feed their best players. If Zeke's back, that might be better. But if we look at the Vikings, they're 7-0 in one possession games, and they played 9 games, right? So they're not blowing people out. They don't. I don't think they have the ability to just ice a game for them just to run it out, right? We haven't seen it. They've been coming back in most of these games, and if we're going into a slugfest, I'm going to take a chance on the number one receiver on the side. Instead of betting on that Jefferson 96.5, we're going to 20, about the same target share, but a 20-yard discount. And I actually think that they're getting the easier defense in this spot too. So sign me up for CeeDee Lamb. I think 77.5 is a little too low.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's one of those guys. I didn't really know how to feel coming into the season completely. Like, I wasn't sure if he was going to take over that role. We saw him be really inconsistent last year, but really every time you look at a list this season of elite alpha wide receivers, target share, yards per route run, air yards, Lamb is at the top of almost all of those lists, kind of proving that he can be that guy. And then when Gallup came back, I was a little bit worried. But Gallup really hasn't been playing a big role at all. It's very clear, like you said, that Lamb is the alpha in this offense. I think he gets a pretty good matchup. I'm expecting a fairly high-scoring game right here. So I agree with you completely. I think this is a good spot for Lamb. And I think he's not being priced maybe like some of these other alpha wide receivers that he's next to in the, the advanced stats. But because of name value, we're getting, 10 yards off right here. So I'll definitely take that.
Yeah, it just seems a little bit too low. I don't know. I think I would. I think if we're going to see – I hope they say that Zeke's limited. Then I would definitely love that, because I think you're going to see Pollard do what Pollard does. I mean, probably the most efficient number one running back in the NFL at this point. He's probably the best. I think if we look at the numbers per game, dude, man, when he's a starter, it's like 170 scrimmage yards a game right now. So, I mean, I don't see Derrick Henry doing that,
Yeah, one-on-one, I think Pollard over Derrick Henry 10 out of 10 times. You heard it here first on Pass the Prop. But, yeah, no, I don't know. That'll be interesting. Dak, too, with Pollard playing so well, it feels like Dak hasn't been tested yet, right? I don't know if you're getting that sense, too. I haven't really seen him prove himself that he's back after injury to that level that we saw him at before. So I would also prefer to just kind of pick on one player rather than trusting Dak as a whole.
For sure. Hey, Terrence, you know what's up. You know what's up. You know how it goes. And let's get to a couple questions on the in-between here before we get to plays number 2. We'll go back to MSA's questions here. A lot of quarterback questions. We'll touch on some of them. I'm sure there's going to be some games that we're not even going to be looking at too much. I think you have a couple Monday night spots, too, in there, too. So, first one, we'll go over to Jared Goff. 239.5 is his line. It's ugly. I never bet on Jared Goff yards. I only bet on completions. The dude is just a dump-off machine. Same thing with Tom Brady. I'll never bet his yards. I only bet his completions. It's kind of how I do it. That's just my own thought on it. Do you have anything different?
I completely agree. I think he's a completions over yards 10 out of 10 times kind of guy, right? I mean, he's really not known for those spike plays. And even when you look at the personnel on their team, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been very consistent, but it's really not – he's not, generating explosive plays at the level a lot of these other guys are with that target share. So I would also prefer just to go completions. I think it'll be a close competitive game, though, which does bode well for the over.
Beautiful. And we'll get to one more, a double question here, and it'll lead us into our next round of plays here. Jalen Hurts, I'll let you take that one to start us off here. Obviously, I believe you have a play in that Eagles game, correct?
Yep. We gotta play in that game. Let's see. Hurts passing yards.
I just never can do passing alone. It's the same thing with Daniel Jones. Dude. I have to do rushing in it too. It's like Fields, dude. Like, can you bet on their passing? I can't. Like, I can't get myself to just click the passing yards just because I know that the upside's there. It's like the points rebound stuff we talk about, being able to pop off on both. Like, Hurts could easily run for 75 rushing yards and get you at that number and not get you to 245.
Yeah, I'd have to lean over, I would say, but exactly what you said right there is it's very possible. The running has been down recently, which is interesting. Maybe they're trying to preserve that for the playoffs, but yeah, it's the Colts. It depends on how much of a fight they put up. I actually am in the department that I think the Colts do put up a pretty good fight, though. So I think Hurts probably just squeaks over. But like you said, he pulls a 50-yard run, and then you're kind of done for the rest of the day.
Perfect. And we'll head over to Matt Ryan. I know this is a little bit closer to what you are going to be talking about here in a second, but I think Matt Ryan's just giving these guys a chance to actually win games, dude. Like he gets the ball to the playmakers, gives them a chance to do stuff in space. It's just a completely different offense than with Ellinger, where you're just like running with your head chopped off and trying to get something done.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Ryan, the thing is, I would love Ryan if we were buying low here at like 225. You know, last week would have obviously been the week if we knew he was going to start. We didn't know that, so we couldn't buy low. Now they've adjusted. They're like, yeah, Matt Ryan's going to go out there and throw. Like 240 is not a low number for anybody in the NFL, right? So coming out and posting that number, I don't really have any interest in going the over, even though I think he actually might go over. But that's a fair number right there. I don't really see much value. I'd rather go somewhere else.
Exactly. I will take this one. I'll kick you to the second one here. I love Jefferson this week. I will be on him again. I was possibly going to play him here, but I just think CD gives me better value. And when you're rolling with the numbers we're rolling with right now, with the amount of units we're up, I ain't going to be pushing that one with a guy trying to get 100. I'm going to take him personally. He'll be on my card at that number. Probably going to sprinkle touchdown as well, but I think that I'm getting a little bit more value with CD. And then you guys are going to see an under from me, which you haven't seen in a while. I had to spice it up a little bit. So stay tuned there. That's coming shortly.
Yeah, even I didn't know that one right there.
I'll kick this one to you. This is a Stu question here.
Well, it's on my short list 100%. I haven't bet it yet. The thing I'm a little concerned about, like 30 minutes ago, right before the show started, it was 63. Then it was 64 as the show started. Now it's 65. It's clearly trending upward. Remember when we bet this at 33 last week? I gave this out on the show at 33 last week, and now we're up to 66. So that's a little bit scary to me. I do like Robinson. I like carries more than rush yards, though. Robinson hasn't been inefficient, and he hasn't been efficient. And I know people will say, yeah, it's the Houston Texans defense. But look what the Packers defense just did. When you can stack the box, your guys can get stops. But Washington's just going to keep giving it to them. So I would prefer carries. I'm curious what they put that number at, but he'll be on my card in one way or another this week.
Yeah, no, I know we agreed on that carries look earlier on there. I had no idea about Lamar being questionable at all, so I don't have anything to say on that. But I'm sure he'll play. I can't imagine. I mean, if he doesn't, who's the backup in Baltimore? McSorley's in Arizona now. I don't even know who's there.
By the way, McSorley should be starting. It's the Huntley guy, right? Isn't that his name?
Oh,
Huntley?
God. Tyler?
Yeah, I believe so. But yeah, interesting. Mobile quarterbacks. He was good last year, too. So that would actually be kind of fun for props. But
not for pass catcher props, but rushing props.
Yeah.
All righty. I know we talked about Matt Ryan, obviously. That's going to bring us right into your second play of the day. A guy we haven't seen on the card yet this year.
Paris Campbell, baby. That's the name you guys all expected to see when you tuned in to Pass the Prop. Warren first, Campbell second. I'm testing you guys a little bit this week, but I hope you trust me right here because I think this is one of my favorite looks of the week. This would honestly be 1.5 or 2 units, but receptions isn't out yet, and I kind of want to double up on receptions just because he's normally a low ADOT kind of guy. I think this sets up as a great game for Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell was trending upwards when Matt Ryan was playing. Those last 2 games, he cleared this number very, very easily. Week 6 and week 7, 51 yards, 70 yards in both of those games, seeing 7 and 10 catches. That's what he ended the Matt Ryan era at. He was looking good. He was trending upward. Then we get Sam in. Sam wasn't so good, right? He ran the ball a lot. He did not complete forward passes, which is hard for wide receivers to sustain their success. But he actually did hit this against Washington with Ehlinger in there. So that is at least some good news. But what did we see last week? Matt Ryan's back. This team cares again. 7 catches for 76 yards for Paris Campbell. These guys clearly have a connection brewing, right? Campbell is the dependable slot wide receiver, gets the job done. The route participation, 96% in the last 3 weeks that he's played with Matt Ryan. Target share, 26% target share for Paris Campbell over the last 3 weeks. And Michael Pittman played in all of those games. That is pretty darn impressive. Now let's look at who these guys are going to face as their matchups. No matter where Michael Pittman goes, he is going to see James Bradberry or Darius Slay. Just because Terry McLaurin made Darius Slay look like a little boy doesn't mean that Michael Pittman will be able to do that, because Terry McLaurin's really good. But point is, 2 very tough matchups on the outside for Michael Pittman, while Paris Campbell will be where we've liked to target the Eagles all season long, in the slot. You're going to get their backup slot corner because they put their starting slot corner, I believe, on IR a couple of weeks ago. He should get the best matchup no matter what. So great matchup. A game script they should be trailing for most of the time, and a guy that's trending upwards. I love 38.5 receiving yards. If they drop receptions at like 3.5, that'll also be a play for me as well. I'll be doubling up.
I love it. Yeah, no, Paris Campbell. I know we talked about a little bit on the difference with Matt Ryan in there. You know, it's a completely different ball game when he's actually in there, being able to throw it to everyone instead of just Sam Ehlinger throwing into the ground and doing absolutely nothing on offense. Those games that I watched with Ehlinger at the start of those games, they were the worst games I've ever watched. So I'm happy Matt Ryan goes in. I kind of understood why they did it, but it's just a completely different ball game with Matt Ryan. It gives people fantasy value again. Like Michael Pittman with Ehlinger was garbage, and that guy is so good. He's probably talent-wise a top 15 wide receiver. He was playing like he's a scrub off the practice squad when he was in there. So definitely agree. I like the spot, and I am. All right, guys, we're going to an under. This might be my first under of the season. Maybe is it? Do you remember? I don't even know if I've taken another under. I don't do unders very often, but.
Yeah.
It's about that time today. So I'm going to go with Derek Carr under 229 passing yards in this game. I get it. That's very low for a guy with the name value as Derek Carr. I get it. But I just want to take a look here at the leading receivers against against the Broncos through these last 3 weeks. All right. We're going Westbrook-Akine. Decided he was going to go off. He had a 63-yard on a broken coverage, right? That was a completely broken coverage. And obviously it's not your number one, right? We go to Jacksonville, leading receiver. Evan Ingram is the leading receiver in that game, right? We go down another one to the Jets, leading receiver. Michael Carter is their leading receiver. Going to the next game, we're going to the Chargers. The leading receiver there was your boy Palmer. Joshua Palmer was their leading receiver, and Mike Williams had 2 catches for 15 yards because he was actually healthy in that game. We've seen the emergence here, obviously, of Surtain. I think that's going to be fantastic here. I love that matchup. I get it. Adams did break 100 yards against them earlier this year, but Carr did not come close to this number. He had 180 yards in the game, and Adams had 101 on 13 targets, 11 catches for 101, right? So it's not that much, right, in yards per catch. They were actually healthy in that game as well, right? You had Waller still playing there. Moreau was playing. I know this time you're only going to have Moreau and Adams. You're missing Renfro underneath. And we saw that game when the Raiders were winning. They still tried to run the ball. Josh Jacobs had 28 carries in that game for 155 yards, and I'm pretty sure that he broke one off for 56. So that means he got 99 on the other 27 carries. Super inefficient. They're still going to stick with it, right? And I just don't see a way that Derek Carr can get to this number unless Davante Adams has a big game. And I'm not betting on Davante Adams having a big game. I think they're going to do everything in their power to stop the one guy in the passing game that can beat you, and that is Davante Adams. I'm going to rely on Mac Hollins trying to get a 100-yard game against this good defense. I just don't see how we're getting Carr here. The other people have to get open here. The only guy I think that has a chance to do anything, like I said, was maybe Moreau, and we've not seen many tight ends be able to go off like that against this Denver defense. They get good pressure. Their secondary is fantastic. I just think they're going to have to try to run the ball and slow this game down completely to stay in it, because I think the Broncos definitely right now at this point are the better team, which is very tough to say.
Yeah, for me, you guys are lucky this isn't the spread pick show, because I would be betting on the Broncos every week. Like, that defense is so good, and they still lose every week. So I'd obviously be down a lot of money. But that's why I like this play, is because the Broncos make every game this low scoring, grimy, just hard to watch, honestly. I feel like it's the best adjective kind of game, right? And I think that's what Carr is going to struggle against. Like you said, he failed to hit it earlier this season. And it's quite obvious that this is one of the biggest run funnels in the league, not because they have a terrible run defense, it's middle of the pack, but it's because they have the best pass defense in football, right? So once Carr is kind of forced into uncomfortable situations, like you said, Josh Jacobs might carry the ball 30 times once again. And even like you said, he was inefficient. We talked about him on Pass the Prop. We both said, yeah, we think he's going to get to 80 yards. If he has 25 carries, he didn't really end up making that happen. But if you give Josh Jacobs 25 carries, he's going to make something happen. So I'm envisioning a very low scoring, a 17-10 kind of game where Carr, he's been bad this year. That's the other thing you didn't directly say. Carr's been bad this season, even with Davante, his best friend, the guy that he loves, that he begged to get traded over here. He hasn't impressed me whatsoever. So not only is it a terrible matchup, but I wouldn't be betting on Carr overs no matter what. So I do like this spot.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at these last 5 games, right? You held Lawrence under 150. You held Zach Wilson under 150. The 2 guys that have hit it have been Herbert.
Yep.
And Tannehill. Tannehill had that 65-yard touchdown pass. Take that away, he only has 190 yards, right? Which, okay, I'll give you 30 yards. He still doesn't clear this number. If it's a normal, like a normal drive, not a 65-yard touchdown. But Herbert completed 33 passes and only had 250 yards, right? So it's like, it wasn't like he was destroying this defense. It was literally just dink and dunk. Obviously, Eckler, I think, had like 9 receptions in that game. But I just love everything Denver has done with this defense. That you're able to not have, you can blitz when you have corners who can just play one-on-one and win, right? There's not that many teams that can say they can do that. And Denver has shown their ability to. So I really like this Denver defense. Yeah, Derek Carr cried last week on the stand. I don't think it's going to change nothing. It doesn't make me feel worse about taking his under again.
Yeah, I have to agree as well. No sympathy betting here.
No, we're playing with some real money here. I don't care about feelings. I'll kick this to you first to talk about Darnell Mooney. Paul is bringing up Mooney over 43.5 receiving yards. I have my lean on this spot. What do you think?
Man, it's hard to trust a guy to catch passes when your quarterback's running for 150 yards every week. I mean, I bet Chase Claypool last week, he didn't even look at him. Like, he was out there running routes. It was cardio. So I have PTSD for this bit. I would only want to bet rushing. Like, I would really only want to bet. I think Mooney probably goes over. The thing is, Atlanta's pass defense is bad, but so is their rush defense, right? Teams just normally choose to pass on them. The Bears don't really choose to pass on anybody. They're just going to play their style of football all game. So I think he probably does go over, but I'm going to have to probably shake off some of that Claypool PTSD before I really lay any money right there.
Yeah, and I think you're getting like inflated lines heavy because of how wide open all these dudes were last week. Like Cole Kmet, no one's within 20 yards of his touchdown. Cole Kmet's second touchdowns, no one's within 10 yards of him. Detroit Lions are the worst defense in football. I don't care what we talk about, right?
Yeah.
They even gave up like 400 total yards to the Packers, and we saw how bad the Packers offense is, right? I'm not taking any pass catchers in this game. I don't think there's a reason to. I think they're going to run the ball 40 times. But I also think this game's going to be so slow. You have Atlanta on the other side that wants to play the same way against the Bears defense that can't stop the run. And you just got rid of your best defensive player. So what are you going to do? Run 90% of the plays here? This game's going to be over by the time by the time the Bills get to halftime. That Bills game is going to be at halftime. This game's done. That's how fast this game's going to go. And I can't take a receiver in a game where I think there's going to be maybe a combined 50 pass attempts.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is AJ Terrell back also? That's a big one for this. He's been out for a while now.
Yeah, no, they said I think he limited practice last week, but they didn't play him. So I would assume because they're fighting for a playoff spot, baby. Those Falcons are fighting for a playoff spot. So I can't believe I'm saying that this far into the season, but yeah, I mean they're right there.
Yeah, let's hope not. I don't want to see the Falcons in the playoffs. That sounds terrible.
Nice little wild card game. Maybe you get some Washington Commanders versus Atlanta first week.
Well, I would take that matchup any day, but if it's probably them or us, I don't think there's a way both of us end up getting in. But hey, I would love that.
Well, Atlanta would win their division. That would be
I don't think that's gonna happen, but we'll see.
All righty. We have two more quarterbacks to talk about from MSA's questions here. Stafford, I know they said was going to play. I'm pretty sure he's expected to play. Hasn't cleared concussions, but he's expected to play. And then we have Andy Dalton. Do you have one that you want to specifically talk about, or are we just going to kind of brush through these ones?
Yeah, both these guys, I don't ever want to watch play again. Why is Andy Dalton still starting? Give me the under. He might get benched halfway through. I think they're tanking, right? I think that's maybe what we can assume. Like having Andy Dalton start, I didn't mind it at first, but Winston's been back healthy for the last couple of weeks, and Dalton's been terrible. So I would take the under on Andy Dalton. I think he might not make it through this game. And then Stafford, I have no interest in betting whatsoever. With elbow, Rams suck, no Cooper Kupp. I don't want any of that. I would lean under on both these.
Give me all the overs on Ben Skowronek, baby. Let's go. That's who we're betting overs on only, not on. No, I'm gonna have to play him this week.
He's gonna squint, look downfield, see a white guy running with his hands up in the air. He's gonna go, Kupp! It's Kupp! I see him! And it's not. He's gonna drop it. It's Ben Skowronek. I don't know why we'd have any faith in him, but that's what Stafford's gonna see. He loves those white guy wide receivers, so I can't hate on that.
Yeah, dude, I have to play him this week because Tyreek Hill's on bye, and my hate for Curtis Samuel has gone through the roof that might get cut. Until Carson Wentz comes back in, Curtis Samuel will be in the shadow realm until we emerge with Carson Wentz. Hopefully that'll be next week.
Hopefully it's never.
Hopefully Carson Wentz comes back in, or Heineke gets too drunk and gets suspended from Busch Lights, and he gets suspended from a couple practices. Can't play in the game. Carson Wentz 46 for 55 for 290. One touchdown, maybe two rushes for 8 yards. But hey, Curtis Samuel has 10 catches for 38 yards there. I'll take that.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate of the Carson Wentz offense. So I think Heineke can handle his Busch Lights. Okay, sitting in economy class on the airplane, I think he's okay.
Oh gosh, Sam, I don't know about that, my man. I don't know. Like I said, we will both have plays. What I'm going to end up doing here is doing a video and doing an article for NBA. So I don't think I'll have, I don't think we'll drop any NBA plays on here unless you have one off the top of your head that you've been looking at. I don't think I do. I haven't really been able to with the NFL stuff this early.
Nah, man, my Friday mornings, I go right from college football prop show to this show. There's not really time to go. NBA's afterwards for me. So I could give you some uneducated guesses on what I think is going to happen, but no real research has gone in yet. We've been grinding out Jaylen Warren and Paris Campbell beat reporter messages. Okay. No time for Giannis yet.
Yeah, no, I have absolutely nothing yet. So I will make sure you guys follow us on Twitter. We will both have our plays throughout the day. Yeah, just make sure you follow us over there, and we'll get you all of the stuff that you need. I don't see any more questions. Do you see any other questions in the chat that I might have missed?
Nope, not right now.
Okay.
Oh, there, Paul now. Giannis rebounds. I will say that was the one spot I was kind of.
I had him last game at rebounds, and it came through, so was happy about that one. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about that game yet. I'm not sure. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't think Holiday's going to play. And I want to bet on my first defensive prop of Javon Carter steals in that game, because that dude's just going to run like his head's cut off, and like a good version of Pat Beverly.
Exactly. I like that. He's good, Pat Beverly.
All right, let's go through our recap here. If you guys have any more questions, drop them in the chat. We appreciate all 34 of you guys in here at the moment for the live action here and joining us on your Friday afternoon. We almost had 50 likes on the video last week. Hopefully we can get there this week. So, yes, hopefully we'll get after it again and have another profitable week. It's a bounce back week for us. And we'll start it off with you here, Stu.
Yep, like I said, we were on superstars last week. We're toning it down a little bit. Jaylen Warren of the Steelers, over 24.5 rushing yards, playing this one for half a unit. Then going over Paris Campbell, over 38.5 receiving yards, minus 115 over on MGM. I'm also looking to double up on those receptions whenever they come out as well.
Awesome. I'll be going to CD Lamb over 77.5 receiving yards, minus 110. And Derek Carr under 229 passing yards. Oof. First one, going to be sweaty, but hey, why not? Why not? So far this season, 42-32, 12.6 units profit. And we're coming at you guys. We didn't forget. We still have our touchdown parlay and two guys that we already kind of talked about today.
Yep, I'm going Brian Robinson Jr. right here to get in the end zone. Him and Gibson, they are splitting the goal line work a little bit. Like, it is kind of not as one-sided as I'd hoped it would be. But I do think Brian Robinson kind of profiles a little bit better in this Houston matchup. It's just Houston's one of the worst tackling teams in the NFL, and they really have been over the last 5 years. Maybe that gets better with Lovey over this year and maybe next year if he is still employed. But for now, I do think Robinson is kind of the better bruising back, right? That'll get those short yardage carries. I think Washington wins this game. I think it's not a high scoring game, but I assume Washington scores, 3-4 touchdowns in here. And I do think Robinson is one of them. We are in love with running the ball on first and second down. And I think Robinson will get first crack at pretty much all of those.
I love it. I'm going to be on CD Lamb. I know we talked about it a little bit here. Vikings allowing 1 touchdown per game to receivers. CD Lamb is by far the alpha here, right? We have Gallup there, I guess, second. I mean, it's not really a close second either. We talk about like elite target shares being about that 30%. Like, that's a superstar wide receiver. We're seeing CD at 31%. So he's right there at that upper echelon of targets. I also like that the Vikings are middle of the pack against tight ends. The only other guy that I really like in the red zone is Dalton Schultz. So if it's coming down to the red zone, middle of the pack against tight ends or second worst in the NFL in yards allowed to wide receivers, I think the easier matchup's going to be on the outside for him. And we'd love to see Dak Prescott throw that 2-yard fade out on the 2-yard line when everybody in the world's on Zeke anytime touchdown or Pollard anytime touchdown. And you're going to throw a fade route to CD because why not? That's just the Dak way of doing things. So sign me up. I think CD comes through. They're giving me a pretty good price there. I think plus 110, plus 115 in a game that we expect points. Sign me up, CD Lamb, touchdown. Give me 100 yards and a touchdown. Going to be in a lot of my DFS slams for sure.
Yeah, I think I expected both these guys to be between minus 110 and minus 120, and seeing them both at over plus 110 was definitely good enough for me.
Awesome. Appreciate you staying in here, Paul. We appreciate all you guys. We're at that 45-minute mark. I'll kick it over to you, Stu. What do you got for the people before we head out with all of our stuff taken care of already?
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I got my college football props, like I mentioned as well. I gave out 2 earlier today. We both are going to have tons of stuff, like we mentioned earlier. It's a great NBA slate. A lot of games, a lot of close spreads. So I know both of us will have more content over for NBA later today. So you're going to want to follow both of us over on Twitter as well. But yeah, good week right here. Feeling ready for a nice bounce back. NBA's been a little tougher on me recently. Some of these NFL looks have been a little rough as well, but I'm excited. I feel like we got some really good spots this week.
Yeah, it's the up and down flow, right? I mean, we've talked about it off camera before where on the days I go 0-2, you pick me up. It goes that way, which is awesome, but it's kind of cool when we're hitting both at the same time, right? When we're both locked in. But that's not how gambling is all the time, guys. It's a long season. There's, 17 weeks for these guys to play games. So the fact that we've been profitable in almost 66% of these weeks is awesome. We've had a long streak of winning profitable weeks. But like I said, we showed our records here before. We're very happy with this number so far this year, and I expect it to keep going. But again, if you guys could drop a like, it helps us out a lot. I'll probably be coming out with a video for a YouTube play of the day because we had to take the dog out this morning before all the snow came. So I didn't get to do one this morning and got to get all the other stuff done. We have like all this Thanksgiving shit going on too. So all of that fun stuff. So videos will be out, articles will be out. Make sure you follow Stu if you don't already, which I'm assuming 99% of you guys do. The only person is probably the person that's dropping the private photo thing on the side of the chat. But they got put on timeout, so hopefully they're not following you over on Twitter.
Hey, man, we'll take anything we can get, okay? Get those numbers up. Hopefully the sex bots are leaving likes on the videos because you guys should be too. If you like this week's video, make sure to leave a like if you're following these plays because, hey, we're doing the research over here, trying to make it as easy as possible for you guys.
And lastly, before we head out, we did drop I dropped one. I think you'll probably drop it or retweet it or something this next afternoon. But for guests, right, we're trying to get some more guests on the show that have been a little bit different. Obviously, we've had some great guests, not taking anything away from those guys, but we're trying to broaden it out a little bit. The show is picking up steam. We're really happy that a lot more people are tuning in. A lot more new people are tuning in. So we want to make sure that we're getting new faces in front of people. Make sure you guys drop some of your favorite guys that you like to tail, whether it be Cappers on Twitter, Instagram, wherever they're at. We'll shoot them messages and see if we can get them on the show. Hopefully we'll be able to match something up. We do it 3 times a week, so we always can try to find a time with people there. So make sure you drop some people over there if you guys follow other Cappers. Hopefully you do broaden your horizon a little bit there, and hopefully we can bring on some new people for next week or the week after. But yeah, I'm very excited to see some new faces here. Whew. I'm out of breath. Stu, before we head out, is this something you posted already?
I had rising passing plus rushing yards. So on Prize Picks, it was passing and rushing.
Okay.
So that number is just the passing number right there. But if it's passing and rushing at 247, I would definitely bet that.
That should be a really fun game. I saw that total is just absurd. So I'm very pumped to watch some college football. A lot of great games this weekend. Still winning that Vegas trip. Hopefully we can keep it going. I need one more week, baby. Got to hold on. So hopefully we can get that and win some more money there. So thank you guys so much. It's a little bit shorter show, but like I said, we're going to be grinding on NBA here shortly. So follow us over on Twitter if you don't already. Smash the like button before you head out. And let's crush this slate. 4 really good picks. Definitely be riding on all of them. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck on week 11.